So one other thing that I wanted to go through in today's session is to go through a new tool that I found to help calculate your sweat rate without even weighing yourself. So this is really important. You say hi, Eloise. This is really helpful and important if you don't have body weight scales and you're not weighing yourself before and after, or you're coming from cooler conditions, racing in Cairns where it's going to be quite warm and you're not sure how much sweat you lose in those conditions. So I'm going to share my screen and go through this tool that you can use to build out your race nutrition plan and that I will use with you to calculate the differences in the first part of your bike session and the last part of your bike in the race. Sorry for the grizzly. It's sleep time. So what we want to do is go to sweatratecalculator.com. It's a free tool. Obviously, there's always going to be some little errors in their calculations, but so far they have had really good success. So we start on the left-hand side. We want to click on an outdoor session, and obviously you can do this for indoor sessions as well. You can do cycling or running. And the really helpful thing about this is that it looks at your weight, height, the temperature of the environment, but also the wind speed because that changes how you sweat and how you cool, the relative humidity, the black globe temperature, which if you know, that's great. And then it looks at relative activity stats. And so this is going to use all its calculations. So we can look at first part of the bike when you're on at 9 a.m., humidity's high, temperature's low, and then back half of your bike when temperature's high and humidity has dropped a bit. Cloud cover can change as well. So we can use the forecast, Cairns weather, to look. Obviously not yet. We don't know what race day is going to be like, but I've picked like this Tuesday, 26 degrees, a bit cloudy. That can be typical of Cairns weather and particularly how it rises in the humidity. So you can see in the morning, it's going to be quite humid, like 82 at 5 a.m. when you wake up and you get in the shower. It drops throughout the day up to 55 and then it will start to increase again. So it's going to be more humid when you're running. And so you need to keep that in mind. You may not feel as hot, but you're going to be sweating quite a bit because it's humid. With this, where's my bar? With this calculator, the max duration you can go up to is 3 hours. You can't do any more than that. So what you can do is split the bike into 2 or into 3 and do 2-hour blocks where the weather will change. And then we can add that up. So I'm just going to go through an example. So if we say in centimeters, 165, weight in kilograms is 65. And what's the environment? So if we start at the 9 a.m., 21 degrees and 73% humidity. So we go 21. Do we know the wind speed? So you need to convert this from miles per hour or meters per second. I've had some issues with calculating the kilometers per hour. It's not really adding up. But for that 13 kilometers from memory, that was about 8 miles per hour. If you don't know it, you can just choose, is it going to be still light winds? And usually it's at least light winds in Cairns. We scroll down to relative humidity. So I've already forgotten that. What was that? 72 morning. We don't know the black globe temperature. So as you can see here, it's assessed by using the globe thermometer. So that measures the radiant heat absorbed by the black surface, providing insights into heat stress and discomfort. So that's something that they can use when they're determining elite sport should they play. So for example, Ollie Jake was behind this, who developed it. He is part of the heat stress and the decisions made at Australian Open. So we can just go no, and what's it going to be like? He said mostly sunny. We'll take that water bottle off Eloise. Activity stats. So your average power output for the first, say, let's do the first 2 hours. So as a female, lower watts, I'm going to say in the first 2 hours, I don't think we could go up to 60 kilometers. So it was like about 50 kilometers was the max at the moment. I'm not sure if maybe we delete that. You need to enter a value. So we'll go 50 kilometers, and that might be an hour 40 for 50 kilometers. And then you calculate the result. And this will get you an average volume loss of the sweat rate. So as you can see here, that's the sweat rate per hour, mils per hour. So that might be more than you normally lose or a little bit less. And that's your total volume for that duration that you've put in. So then you can use this to look at, okay, well, if 756 mils is going to be my sweat rate, I want to replace most of that to prevent dehydration. So for that first 50 kilometers, the first 2 hours of your race on the bike, you'll want to aim for at least 700 mil, 650 maybe, minimum. And that may be your sports drink or your electrolyte drink or water. So that will help calculate what you're going to do for that. And then we can look at an example. No. We can look at an example if we go in the back half, outdoors, cycling, if we go in the back half of the race, how that's going to differ. So we've got 165 kilos, I think I have a 65. Temperature, so we go back to the Cairns weather. Back end, that's going to be around 2 p.m. 26 and 55 degrees, you can see. So is it 25, 26, 26 and 55? And what was the wind speeds? 18 kilometers. So we'll go, I think the max we could do was 9. That was hopefully about it. Relative humidity, 55. No, it's still going to be mostly sunny. Mostly sunny. We'll just keep the same power and everything for now. Obviously, that's going to can change. So if you were doing, say, like a really hilly course, that's going to change your power output, your efficiency, your sweat rate. So if there was, like, say, Port Macquarie, where there's a really big hill, you could do that section to compare versus a flatter section. Okay, so let's calculate this one. So you can see it's quite a bit more because it's warmer. If we were to change and just change the humidity, that would change as well. But you can see you need more in that back end. So first half of the race, or first until you get to the personal needs, you're not going to need as much fluid, but as the day goes on, you're going to be needing more. So this is a strategy, if you can remember and you're good at doing that and planning, to do slightly less in the beginning and then more in the back end. Or what we typically do as well, in particularly when it's a shorter event and the weather doesn't change too much, is we look at that overall average and start trying to do that from the beginning. So then by the end, you are still set up to have prevented significant dehydration, if that makes sense. So go to sweatratecalculator.com, try that, possibly for this weekend. Look ahead to the weather data and give it a go and see if that helps.